Hello again and welcome to Doing Life with Itsy on a Bitsy Budget. Today we're going to learn how to make butter. So let's get in the kitchen and get started. Here we are with our butter making supplies and we're ready to get started. Let's check out what you're going to need. Only a couple of things. This is the easiest thing that you'll make. Only takes a few minutes, probably about 15. You're going to need a big bowl with some ice in it. You're going to need heavy whipping cream. You can get any brand. And if you want salted butter, you're going to need salt. That's it. So what we do to get started is, Jennifer, if you want to come this way, it might work better. You're going to need a mixer. Now you can do this with a hand mixer. You can even put this in a jar and shake it. But believe me, your arm will be worn out if you do that. So what you do is, it's very simple. You're going to put your cream into your mixing bowl and then you're going to mix it. It takes really about 10 minutes. So I'm going to put it on, go ahead and put it in here. And depending on how much butter you want, I'm going to use about half of this, but well, I'll just use the whole thing. Then we can see how much a whole container, and I'll look and see exactly how much this is. But you're going to put your heavy whipping cream, and it needs to be heavy whipping cream. Now what's going to happen is when we mix this, it's going to get, to the point. I know in a previous video we've made just whipped cream and you stop short of it going to butter. So once you go a little past that point of mixing it, it's going to turn into butter. And what you're going to have is a lot of juice left, and that is your actual buttermilk, which you can use to make biscuits or you can use to fry something with some flour. So we'll talk about ways to use what's left over so you don't throw that out either. Now this whipping cream, I wanted to say, I did get it at Aldi's and it was a lot less than if you just go to your normal store. So you might want to check their supply of this out if you're wanting to make some of this for Thanksgiving. This size is, well, let me get my glasses. I think it's a quart. Yes, 1 quart. This is a quart size. Okay, so I've got it in the mixer here, and we're just going to mix it. I'll turn on, I'll come back to you in this video so you can kind of see it at different stages. Okay, I'll go ahead and mix. Okay, we're at the stage, it's not ready yet. We're at the stage at about a whipping cream, a light whipping cream. So see, it's still kind of getting thick, but not stiff peaks yet, like you would need for just like a whipped cream. So let's keep going, and it's been about 3 minutes. Here we go. Okay, now I'll show you what it looks like now. It's starting to get a little chunky. Jennifer, if you can come get a shot of it. And you're gonna take your spatula, go around the bowl, kind of get it off. But if you wanted, this would be a good consistency for whipped cream. In fact, it's a little bit past that point. You could have stopped about 30 seconds ago or a minute ago. But so we're at about 5 minutes now. So we'll continue to beat this, and you can see how the texture changes as we continue. All right. Alright, I'm going to show you again where we're at. It's starting to get a little thicker, as you can see. It's starting to turn yellow, and it's starting to have a different smell to it. It's starting to smell like butter to me. So your cream doesn't really smell buttery, but it starts turning more yellow as you continue on. Now is a good time to add some salt if you wanted to have salted butter, which I'll go ahead and do so you can kind of see about how much salt you need. It's really no more than a half a teaspoon. So I'll just take a couple of pinches. I don't like mine real salty. And go ahead and put that in. Let me just get rid of that. And so that's really all you need. Otherwise it gets a little bit too salty. But all right, we'll continue on. Okay, now we've beaten another 3 minutes or so, and I was going to show you the change. You can see how it's starting to drip. Now, about a minute ago, you could have stopped right there if you were going to go ahead and use this butter right away. say you just made a small amount and you're doing a breakfast or something and you're going to go put it on the table and you're going to use it. It would be a good time to add like cinnamon to it and sugar if you wanted a cinnamon butter, or if you wanted a lemon butter, a little bit of lemon. You can add anything to butter. But what I'm going to do is go ahead to the fullest part of this. And you can see that the buttermilk is starting to form. So you're going to need to scrape your bowl here and then continue to beat. And it's going to get a little bit thicker, like a stick of butter almost. All right, let's continue. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and turn this off and let you see where we're at now. My butter is really done. Do you see this dripping? That's your buttermilk. So we are going to preserve that because I'm going to use that buttermilk to make either biscuits or use it to fry like a green tomato or something. I'll see if I have one. Maybe we'll do a video on that. All right, here's how you start working it from here. I just kind of get the, I don't know, can you see that good? It's kind of chunky, almost like a cottage cheese kind of look. And I went ahead and got another bowl over here with a strainer. And at this point, I'm going to fill up my ice bath. Now what we do with this is once we drained all that buttermilk out, I just sit this in the sink and butter melts so fast in your hands that, let me see if I can get my rings off, that you've got to sit it in cold water real quick and then continue to squeeze it and get that buttermilk out. Once you put it in the water, you don't use that buttermilk anymore. So we're going to get as much as we can out of there now. So you can look at how it's automatically separating for me. You see that buttermilk? All right, so we'll just start pouring that in here. Let it drain. I might have to get a bigger bowl. Just depends on how much fat is actually in the butter that you, the cream that you buy. And for me, I like that buttermilk, so it's fine for me to have a little bit.
How long can you store the buttermilk before you use it to make biscuits or?
Okay, so fresh is not going to be that long. In fact, this butter, you can see we've got quite a bit here. I'm just pressing it down and getting all the, see how the buttermilk's coming out more and more? Just press it down and let it sit. I've got quite a bit of milk in this bowl, as you can see. So I'll just let this continue. In fact, I'm going to get a bigger bowl. Hold on just a second. Okay. Now, what I usually do here is I actually get pretty messy and I squeeze it. So you can see how more will come out when I just start squeezing it. You want it all out so it doesn't, get in the dish that you're using. So this is probably the most time-consuming part of it, is just getting it cleaned out. Now, what I'm going to do with this butter for you is I'm going to let it sit here for a minute, and then I'm going to do another video of how I prepare it for the table for Thanksgiving or any dinner that I'm having, and what I choose to do with it. So we'll come back to the butter in about 10 or 15 minutes, but you could go ahead and use your butter now. Okay, so I'm going to rinse it one time. Now I won't be keeping this milk. This is all the buttermilk I've got, if you want to show them. And it's probably about 3 or 4 cups. It's a lot. So there's your buttermilk. It's very good and tasty. And like I said, I chose to put the salt in it this time, but you don't have to put the salt so that you don't have salt in your biscuits. But it really isn't enough salt to be altering the taste of good biscuits. All right, so I'm going to put this down in the water bath. Okay, and then I'm not going to keep this milk anymore, so I'll just squeeze this. You see how it just makes like Play-Doh, I guess. Just keep working it. Now, if you wanted to make a mold out of this, like a decorative mold, you would just go ahead and put this in it, and you would just pat it down and put it back in the refrigerator for an hour or so, or really about 30 minutes, and it gets good and hard. See, now this is starting to get real greasy on my hand. That's why I'll stick it back in here. I'll squeeze it one more time, but this is good to go, really. And that's it. There's your butter. So, you know, years ago, they had butter dishes that were real big. Now you know why. Because when they made this butter, I have to use Dawn to get it off. When they made this butter, it was a big chunk like this. So, like I said, we can do some decorative things with it. And I'll go ahead and do another video to show you that. But I'm going to grab an old-timey butter dish to show you what I'm talking about. Well, here's a good one for it. So I have a few. I have dome ones. This is, you see it's lifted here. So you would just take this and you'd put it in there and mold it if you wanted it in this. And that would be your chunk of butter right there. Now they make round ones and you put your lid right on it. My hands are so messy, I'm not going to grab it. But that's the whole idea. If it's too big, you would just take it and half it. Again, you can keep this. That worked perfect. You can keep this in your refrigerator for about a week when it's fresh. So it's really not, unless you're having a big, like Thanksgiving or something, you don't really need to make that much at a time. So, you know, just pour half of this in would be my suggestion. And you're going to get about a half of this amount. Which this is about probably 2 pounds of butter, I'd say. That's what you're going to get. So you'd get about a pound. And that's good for most people for about a week. All right, thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share. And we'll see you next time.